folks. Welcome to Advisory. I hope you guys are all doing well. A couple of announcements before we get started on the main lesson today. Just another reminder that Student Council is selling Boo-grams, which is a sweet treat in a note that you can send to someone via Student Council. If you order them between now and the 30th in all lunches, then whoever you want to receive the Boo-gram will receive it Halloween morning, October 31st. In their first period. So make sure you see them at lunch, give them $2, and send a sweet thing to your boo. Also, attendance for credit sessions are going on all the time, every week. Specifically, they happen Tuesday and Thursday after school in the cafeteria from 4:40 to 5:40 p.m. And most Saturdays, they are meeting from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the first floor H wing. And so if you need AFC, or if you don't know if you need AFC, you can go to either this QR code, or since you don't have anything to scan it, you can do afc-lookup.glide.page, and you can find out whether you have AFC or not. Get that attendance taken care of. The final announcement today: tomorrow, Wednesday the 22nd, is a PSAT and SAT testing day. There's going to be about 800 people in the building testing, and so it's going to be a little bit crazy for everybody. The people that are taking the test is mostly going to be sophomores, with some freshmen and juniors and even some seniors taking the SAT. Seniors that are taking the SAT are those that passed Algebra 1 but still need a different math score on their SAT, and so they are getting another stab at it. The test will take place tomorrow during second and third periods. So you'll go to your regular first period. And to know where to go, you can look at the schedule on your sticker that you should be receiving during this class. You can also, if you have access to a computer, look it up yourself at bit.ly/longhornlookup. You can also tomorrow ask a teacher or anybody that has access to the Longhorn Lookup to tell you where you are going. And so you can't scan, obviously, the QR code anymore because we don't have phones out, but you can look at the sticker and ask an adult to help you look it up on the lookup. Just a little overview of the test. The PSAT builds on skills and knowledge necessary to help students succeed in college. It gives you an opportunity to prepare for the SAT that is usually taken as a junior or senior, and it has the potential to satisfy graduation requirements. If you did not do as well as you wanted to on the STAR end of course assessments, you can replace those scores with the score from the PSAT. So you might do better on the PSAT than you did on your STAR scores, and these can replace those scores. If you're taking the SAT, this is an opportunity for you to get money. The higher score you get on your SAT, the more likely it is that colleges will help you out with tuition and scholarships. I got a lot of my college paid for because of my SAT scores, which I had to take a couple of times before I got to a good enough score. And so if this is not your first time taking the SAT and you're wondering why you're taking it again, take it again and take it seriously, because that second time or third time of taking it usually gets you a higher score. The structure of the test is this. There are 4 sections and 1 break. There's a reading and writing section that has 2 modules with 27 questions each, and a math section that has 2 modules with 22 questions each, with a 10-minute break in between. This is the adjusted schedule for everybody. Notice that first period is the same, and during second period is when things get a little crazy. So if you are testing at all tomorrow, the first thing you will do at 10:45, when second period would normally start, is go eat lunch. All testers and proctors will eat a little bit of an early lunch from 10:45 to 11:15. There will not be an A lunch. Okay, if you normally have A lunch and you're not testing, you'll be split between B and C lunches. Your teachers should get that information and know which of those to send you to. And then everybody who is not testing has a regular schedule, but you may be displaced to a different classroom. So it's important that you look at your sticker on your ID or on the Longhorn Lookup so you know where you're going, even if you're not testing. And then sometime here during fourth period, the testers will be finished and be released to go back to their fourth period. And so, to recap, anybody who is testing or has a displacement of some kind should receive a sticker today. Students and teachers both can look at the Longhorn Lookup to see where a student is going. But before you leave advisory today, make sure that everybody in the room knows where you are going tomorrow for second, third, and fourth periods. Remember, regular first period for everyone in the building. Testing begins during second period. Also, if you don't have a sticker or you don't have anything on the lookup, that means you're just going with a regular day as if nothing is happening. All right, now that those announcements are out of the way, today we are talking about the academic skill of setting goals. Setting goals was the second most requested academic skill, and so I wanted to spend some time going over what setting goals looks like and why we should do it. So, why is it important to set goals? Setting goals gives us purpose. It keeps us driven towards those purposes. It can energize us when things are tough, and it helps us grow ultimately. If you don't have goals or if you don't have something that you are striving towards, it can be really difficult to do the everyday or the mundane tasks that are in front of us because we don't have a purpose or we're not driven towards something. So setting goals is important, if nothing else, for the fact that it helps us focus on something. And there's this fun acronym when it comes to setting goals that you can remember, and that is SMART, SMART goals. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timed. So when a goal is specific, it answers the question, what exactly do you want to achieve? You have to be really specific with your goal so that you know when you have completed what you want to achieve. You have to lay it out with as much detail as you can. All goals should be measurable, which means you should have some way to track progress. It should be something that you can track the progress of day to day as you're getting closer to the goal. You should know the distance from you to the goal at all times because it is measurable in some way. Is the goal attainable, which means is it realistic? Is this something that you could realistically do? We want to have big dreams and we want to chase big dreams, but we also want the goals that we set to be something that we can actually accomplish. R is relevant. Does the goal actually matter to you? Is the goal aligned with you, who you are, and your values? If you don't care about the goal, or if it doesn't really fit in with who you are or your values, then it may not be a goal worth setting. And then finally, timed. A good goal should have a start and end date. There should be a time, however long in the future, by which you want to have achieved this goal. So a good goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant to you, and has a time limit. All right, I'll give you an example. Say that my goal is that I want to be really, really strong. You know, I've been reading a lot of Batman comics lately, and Batman is always so strong. He's strong enough to defeat just about anything that comes at him. And he's just ripped, dude. He's got these big, big, big muscles. And maybe that's what I want, right? I want some big Batman-sized muscles. I want to lift heavy things and be able to be really strong and beat up a bunch of bad guys. Just give me a couple weeks and a Planet Fitness membership, and this will be me. But I also know that a good goal goes by the SMART acronym. And so I'm going to put my goal of wanting to be really, really strong through the SMART filter and see if I can make this goal a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to ask is this goal specific enough? Is this a specific goal? And it's pretty broad. Strong could mean anything. Really, really strong could mean anything. There's not really any details given. And so if I wanted to edit this and make it more specific, instead of really, really strong, I could maybe make it specific to my arms.
I just want big, strong arms. Okay?
I'm being specific about where I want to be stronger, and that gives me just one area of strength to focus in on. Okay, but I want to make it even better. I want to get stronger arms is pretty good, but is it measurable? How do we make this more measurable? Well, if you've ever lifted weights, you know that the measurable part comes in with how much you are able to lift each workout. And so maybe instead of saying, I want to get stronger arms, I can say, I want to bench press 100 pounds more, right? That is measurable. That is a specific amount of pounds that I cannot lift now that I want to be able to lift in the future. I want to lift 100 pounds more than I can lift right now. So it's specific, it's measurable now. We need to see if it's attainable. Is this going to be realistic for me? Am I really going to be able to bench press 100 pounds more just with this one goal? Or is that maybe going to be too overwhelming? Is there a way that I can make this goal a little bit more realistic or a little bit more attainable? And with that in mind, maybe I don't want to work towards 100 pounds first. Maybe I want to choose a smaller number. And so I'll say, you know what? Let me just say I want to bench press 50 pounds more. And it's not that I'm giving up on 100 pounds. It's just that 50 pounds is a closer milestone to me, and it's more realistic for me to attain that goal. And so once I get to 50 pounds more of a bench press, after that, I can continue working towards that 100 pounds. But the attainable and realistic goal of 50 makes me feel a lot better about getting to that next step. So it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable. I want to bench press 50 pounds more. I'm going to skip down to timed because you also want to make sure when you're being specific with your goal that you give yourself a time limit. When do you want to have this goal achieved? When do I want to have the ability to bench press 50 more pounds? If I just say whenever, then I'm going to get to it whenever. I'm not going to work towards this goal unless I give myself some sort of time frame in which I want to achieve the goal. And so maybe I can say, I want to bench press 50 pounds more 3 months from now. So I can say, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to do a lot of exercises to where I can bench press 50 more pounds than I can bench press right now in 3 months. You want to make sure that that time limit is attainable and realistic for you. And you can always change that amount of time, that deadline, if you need to. But having a moment in time where you are going to check in and say, did I achieve this goal? If not, how can I go back to the drawing board, make a new goal that makes a little bit more sense? Okay, so I've made it specific. I've made it measurable. I've made it attainable. I have put a time limit on it. And really, the last thing to think of is relevance. Is this goal relevant to me? Is this something I want to actually spend my time and energy doing? Is this something that is going to actually bring me joy, or am I doing it for other reasons? And so if I'm thinking of whether or not this goal is relevant to me, it's really a question of, do I want to be able to bench press 50 more pounds in 3 months? Is this something that I really want to do, or would I much rather spend my time, I don't know, playing banjo or something? Yeah, on second thought, I don't really need to bench press 50 more pounds in 3 months. I would much rather spend that time learning new tunes on the banjo. In addition to the SMART check, there's some other things to think about when you set your goals. Number one is you should probably write them down. It does us very little good to have a goal just bouncing around in our own head because we may never hold ourselves accountable for that goal, or it may be difficult to keep track of it. And so writing them down in a journal that you keep, or even a phone note, something where you can put these things in writing, will help you out a lot. You should also make time in your week to work towards the goal. You want to make time throughout the week, throughout the day, to work on your goal little by little. Setting smaller deadlines for yourself on the way to the larger goal is going to help out a lot as well. You should also celebrate all achievements, no matter how small they are. The reason that you have smaller steps towards a larger goal is because you can celebrate when you reach those smaller steps. Completing those small steps should be rewarded, and you should be happy with the small achievements that you make along the way. Those little celebrations give us energy to spur us on towards the ultimate goal. You should also remember that setbacks are learning opportunities, not failures. We can be really hard on ourselves whenever we're working towards a goal. And anytime we fail or mess up along the way, it can be very demoralizing unless you think of those little failures as learning opportunities. Maybe you didn't fail. Maybe you learned how not to do something. Maybe you learned a different way to approach the goal that you hadn't thought of before. Failure is a teacher on the way to success. Anybody who is truly successful has not gotten there just based on success after success. They have failed many times in their journey, and you will too. And that's okay, because that's how we learn. In all of these things, it really helps to find a mentor or a group of like-minded people to help you along with that goal. If you really want to get strong, you can probably join workout classes where everybody is working towards similar goals, and having those people alongside you can give you energy and can make you feel less alone. And then finally, remember your why. Remember the purpose with which you set the goal in the first place. Why did you set this goal? Why does this align to your values? How is this going to help you? How is this going to help you help others? What is the ultimate purpose of setting this goal? Keeping your purpose in mind is always going to help when things get tough. So that's what I want you to work on for the rest of advisory today, is working on setting at least one personal goal and one academic goal. And this is going to be like a long-term kind of goal. What do you want to achieve by the end of this school year? I want you to write one personal goal, something that you want to achieve in your personal life outside of school, and then one academic goal, something that you want to achieve as a student before the end of the school year. And remember our acronym. The goals should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timed. You should also write this somewhere you will remember it. If you have a journal, write it there, or if you have a piece of paper in a safe place to keep that piece of paper, or even a digital document if you have computers in front of you. Wherever you choose to write it, you should be able to access it all the time. And if you have a little time and you want to share with the class, then you most certainly may do that, but you do not have to. This is your personal academic and personal goals. But that's all from me for today. Happy goal setting. Don't forget to figure out where you're going tomorrow for testing. Be good to yourself and others, and I'll see you real soon.